Two items, item A2 and item 23, which will be handled individually. For a motion, Councilman Marks.
So moved, Mayor.
May I get a second, Councilman Frank?
Second, Mayor.
It's been moved and second that we would approve the consent agenda with the exclusion of the two previously stated items. Are we ready for question? There aren't any questions. You ready to vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposers? Ayes have it. So as all the consent agenda is approved as indicated. Now, with the items that were withdrawn, the first item being on page 4, item A2 by a request of Mayor Bartie for the African American Mayors Conference in Washington, D.C. on the dates of April 18th through the 22nd in 2023, and requested amount in $5,749.40. Get a motion for approval, Councilman Frank.
So moved, Mayor.
May I get a second, Councilman Jones?
Second, Mayor.
It's been moved and second that we would approve item number A2. We have questions on that item. Councilman Kinlaw.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, thank you for being transparent about, some of these approved travels. Even though you've talked with us collectively about, the reasons why, I just wanted you to continue that with our community and letting them know why it's so important for you to represent the city of Port Arthur to go out there and network with individuals that can actually get things done in this city. So I pulled this item so that you can express this to entire city about how this is going to reflect on our great city.
Okay. Well,
Mr. Mayor, may I speak before you?
Okay, Councilman Frank.
Thank you for pulling it, Dr. Kinlaw. I appreciate it. On the last occasion that you wanted to go, Mayor, to this African American Mayors Conference, I was one of the members at that particular time who voted against it. As the entirety of the council did, you yourself voted against it at the end of that vote. But of course, at this particular time, I'm going to be one of the individuals to vote for it this particular time. And I wanted to commend and thank you as well. All of us as council members have strengths, those things that we bring to the entirety of council. Your strength, of course, is the ability to network, and because of that, you have been able to bring millions of dollars to the city of Port Arthur. And so when we vote on these kinds of issues, it says for us that we are choosing to be progressive as opposed to regressive. And so I'm going to vote for you to go and just do all that you can to continue to do what you do and to bring millions of dollars back to the city of Port Arthur. So I'm going to vote for this measure. Thank you.
Okay. Your light is on, Councilman Moore? Okay, I know that's all right.
And I want to speak to this issue because I know the citizens would like to know that a couple of weeks ago we were at the port when Secretary of Transportation came down to actually award the port a grant for $13.6 million. And I don't think the citizens of this city know that it was because of the contacts that were made through the mayor with someone in the Department of Transportation's office, that they were able to access the Secretary Buttigieg, and that approval for $13.6 million was done within an hour or so of a meeting after the port director, Larry Kelly, spoke to us that day and talked about the 9 times that they had applied for that same grant, and was turned down 9 times until there was a contact made in that office based on a relationship that the mayor has developed in Washington, D.C., and we were awarded $13.6 million. So it's with that I would say that I would vote for this item this time. But I would also like to ask, I don't see our finance director here, but there is a travel budget. And there are pre-approved travel items on that budget. And just for clarity's sake, is there someone from finance here, Mr. City Manager? So that we can talk about exactly what's in it, what was budgeted for this year, and where we are. We're mid-year now, and we need to know exactly what's been spent and what's remaining.
That would be an analysis that we could provide you with later, but if one is asking that whether funds are available for expenditure, yes, funds are available for expenditure. At this point, okay. Yes.
Okay, to both my colleagues who have spoken favorably for this, I'm humbled, and I thank you. And to those of you who are gathered here, even in the gallery, I speak to you as the mayor of the city of Port Arthur. What I like to say is, in government, just as in your homes, in your businesses, in your churches, in everything you do, you're not conducting business at home the way you conducted it 2 years ago. You're not conducting business in your churches or in your organizations as you did 5 years ago. It has changed. If you are a business owner and you're actually conducting business in your everyday profession, it's not being conducted in the very same way you did probably 24 months or 36 months ago. Government is not being conducted as it was 4 or 5 years ago. Right now, government, the presidential administration that we have, the actual Congress, no matter what political ideologies they may be on as far as the partisanship, the Biden administration has worked vehemently to be sure that monies would come directly to communities. There are cabinet-level departments that are actually handling the funds that are coming directly to our communities. There are over 19,000 communities and villages and reservations in the United States of America. Whenever requests are made for disbursement of funds to any of these villages, basically right now they're going through cabinet level positions. This is what the administration has right now and the way it's done. I say all that to say because you have to have relationships with individuals in those offices who make those decisions. On last year, as Councilman Frank said, I, along with the council, just voted no. I used my personal funds to go to Washington, D.C. for about 4 days. No flight, food, hotel. But through that, I formed relationships with individuals who were on the 7th floor of the Department of Transportation, where the Buddha cake is on the 8th floor. But no information gets to the 8th floor without passing first on the 7th floor. If the undersecretaries don't have dialogue with you and are able to actually understand what it is you're trying to get, it's very unlikely that your request gets up to the 8th floor. In that, and with that in mind, God blessed me to be an individual of personality, to have command of the English language, and to be astute enough to explain myself in a proper manner. And through those characteristics, I was able to have every person in that room know the passion that I had for the city of Port Arthur and my community down here in Little Oak, Texas. When we finished the presentation after about 2 hours, the undersecretary said, "Mayor, I'm glad that you were here. I can now put a face with the request." He said, "Because we have 11,000 requests." I had no idea we would get it. I had little knowledge. I knew the port had tried to get these monies several times prior and were unsuccessful. I said all of that to say this. In the beginning, I said, you can't conduct business the way you did in the past. Right now, if your city is going to get something and be a recipient of some of the grants that are available, you must aggressively go after those. And you have to aggressively seek those by being present when discussions are going on. There's an adage that I learned in Washington that said, if you're not in the room when the discussion goes on, you're probably part of the menu. And I didn't want Port Arthur to be part of the menu. So I made this request again, that we would consider my going back to Washington again to see if God would bless us again with maybe some form and some semblance of funding that we would not normally be considered for.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the proper way to do this, and you're doing it the right way. I just want to make sure we're clear. When you're asking for pre-travel expenses, you're doing that. We've asked you to go and tell the community exactly why. That's the proper way to do it, based upon being on the travel expense committee myself. So thank you again. I just want to make sure that we're being transparent to all the individuals that's out here and the listeners out there on the website. So thank you again, and I too will approve this pre-travel experience based upon your connections and based on what you can do to service the city of Port Arthur. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions on the motion? If not, we are ready to vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposers? Ayes have it, so it's ordered A2 of the consent agenda is approved. And again, thank you all. And now